What do we trust about the SEC? What do we know about here's a perfect segue. We don't know what we know about this league at this point. Way different from a year ago.
I don't know who I can trust on the internet. I don't know who I can trust in the SEC.
That's an accurate statement. If you aren't aware, last season, the SEC, the entire season, every postseason tournament included, the SEC lost 23 games total to teams not in the SEC. It went 185-23. That is an 89% win clip. This season, the SEC to this point, and think about all the games it'll have in postseason play, it has already doubled its amount of losses to non-conference opponents from a season ago. It had 23 all of last season. It is 131-46 overall in non-con play this season, GP. That is a 74% win rate versus the record-setting and it's never getting broken. 89% versus all non-con opponents for one league is nuts. The highest-ranked team in this week's AP Top 25 is Vanderbilt, still undefeated, sitting there at 13. I think we've got 6 or 7 teams in the poll, which is healthy, but there's not a single top team. It's team in the top 10 in the AP poll, in the predictive metrics. It's a drastic step back from a season ago, and I do think you can make the case that the SEC actually falls 4th in the conference hierarchy heading into Christmas.
So I think I can tie all this together. What I'm hearing from you is after last season, historically great, the SEC has fallen off. It's a one-hit wonder, a little bit like Milli Vanilli.
You can tie it together, I guess, but I don't want to call it a one-hit wonder because that was the biggest hit ever. But I hear what you're saying.
Are you comparing the SEC to Milli Vanilli?
That's literally what you are doing.
Oh, okay.
I wouldn't dare.
I thought you were doing it. I thought you were comparing the SEC to Milli Vanilli. It seemed harsh. I know Greg Sankey sometimes rubs people the wrong way, but comparing his league to Milli Vanilli seems harsh.
I agree.
The question dribble handoff was, okay, who's going to win this thing now? Because like you mentioned, nobody in the top 9 at KenPom, but then there's like 7 bunched together in the 10 to 25 range. I went with Alabama. Alabama was not my preseason pick. I think that was Florida. Mm-hmm. And Alabama is not the highest ranked team in the top 25 and one from the SEC right now. I believe that's Arkansas. But I went with Alabama. They hand out 2 trophies every year in the SEC. One for the regular season champ, one for the tournament champ. And so over the past 5 years, they've handed out 10, and Nate Oates has 4 of those. 2 conference tournaments, 2 regular seasons. I think he adds another regular season title in March, and he also has the SEC Player of the Year in LeBaron Philon.
Yeah, Alabama's entirely reasonable, logical. I can see the Crimson Tide having the number 1 next to their name when the SEC tournament gets played. You see who I picked?
I did not. I wanted to be surprised in real time.
Who do you think? I could have picked Alabama. I could have picked literally 15 other teams. Who do you think that I picked to win the SEC regular season?
I'm going to say that you circled back. You were influenced by a recent conversation with Mark Pope, and you circled back to the Wildcats.
Kentucky's your guess?
Kentucky is my final answer.
Well. You are right. I'm going with Kentucky. If Quaitance is going to be healthy, Jalen Lowe's impact, I think, is going to increase and be undeniable. And I picked Kentucky to win the SEC at the start of the season with the idea that Quaitance would get healthy by Christmas and be a major factor in the league, and that Jalen Lowe would be one of the most important transfers in the entire country. Now, I don't know if Lowe will wind up being top 5 or top 10, but I do know when I saw him on the floor last week in the Indiana game, it was immediately evident. So, yeah, I'm taking Kentucky narrowly. I also wrote in our capsule for the dribble handoff, I do think this is going to be the most wide open race that we have this season among all the high majors, because you look at the Big East, UConn, maybe St. John's, probably not going to be that compelling. Yeah, the Big 12 should be very, very good and would be the one league that I think could really compete with it. The Big 10 seems like it could be Michigan, Purdue, Michigan State. Okay, could be like a 3-team race. Maybe you'll have an Illinois or Nebraska. I'm not going to discount them popping in there. But from the SEC, the ACC seems like it's Duke. We'll see if UNC or Louisville can really be in there. But the SEC, going in right as things stand right now, and let's even call my Kentucky one a long shot. I willingly accept that. They're not the most likely, the second or third most likely right now. I completely feel you on that. But you've got Vandy still undefeated. Florida, we will hear from multiple writers in our triple handoff. Put Florida as their pick. Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Arkansas is 6. I can't discount Auburn as 7. I don't think they'll be there, but Georgia is 10-1 and top 25 at KenPom right now. Just feels like this really could be one of those carnival horse racing games, just one after another. They're switching every other week. It should be a pretty awesome race overall. But I'll go Kentucky. Not with ultra confidence I'll be right, but it was my preseason pick, and there's enough there to give me hope. I say this less than 24 hours out from the CBS Sports Classic now, even though it's not an SEC game. Watch Kentucky lose tomorrow, and my pick will be aging immediately terribly.